Here's what you missed on the last episode of Colony Confidential.
If they get a dose of pesticide and they feel themselves starting to die, they will jettison the ootheca. So basically, they will shoot out the egg capsule that holds hundreds of roaches so that their babies, they're all about continuing their lineage, so that their offspring will live a fabulous life. So they may have shot that in your best friend's shirt pocket after they got a dose in your own home. And then unknowing to you, you bring it to your friend's house, you leave your bag there, and however, the roaches come out of your bag, and there you go. Pest control is fascinating, isn't it?
It's never dull because you're always solving problems.
All right, what's the next question? How do you know if it's your imagination / fear, or if you really have a pest problem? I see random black spots on wall, brown sticky things. I saw one time a white thing on a door, but after careful checking, it looked more like a cloth or something. I don't know if I'm going crazy or it's just dirt, because by my own self, or if I have a pest problem, caused by my own self, or if I have a pest problem. I'm very afraid of bugs, and I just moved to a new apartment.
All right, so the black sticky stuff, I don't know what it is. But if they were black, not sticky, solid little, look like little marks from pencil, like if you put a pencil down on a white piece of paper, there'd be a bunch of them, usually around hinges to cabinets in the kitchen. That is roach feces. If that's the case, get rid of it, because if you haven't seen any, but you're worried about these things, I get it. But those roach feces are like when you were a kid and I was a kid. Well, when I was a kid, I can't speak for you. You went to the candy store. Maybe the same people that you hung out with weren't there, but you still went to the candy store and made new friends. New roaches are going to be attracted to those feces because they feel, well, these other people were here, seem to be pretty safe. I don't know where they moved on to. So if it's moist, it's wet, I don't think it's any kind of roaches. The white thing that you figured out was a piece of cloth or something. The only white thing, as far as the roach family goes, as the roach sheds their exoskeleton, their outside is white. And then you'll see in an hour, it will change back to their golden brown. So that's the only time you see it white. But if you saw a white roach, they'd be moving. They wouldn't be standing still. So you figured it out, that one for yourself. So my answer is no, that black gooey stuff is not roach feces.
1 second. Patrice has to get some
Ice?
Yeah, it makes noise in the background. So let me touch on this quite a bit, okay?
Okay.
One, delusional parasitosis is a very real thing. It's a mental disorder where people feel they have this persistent belief that they're infested with living or non-living pathogens like parasites, insects, bugs, when there's nothing really there. Now, I'm not going to say this is the case, but it's a thing. It plays to the mystery bug, which we'll get into in a second. But let me just answer the questions. The person says they moved into an apartment and they're concerned about these things. Now, if it's a decent apartment that you moved into, the landlord probably has a pest management professional on their vendor staff, and it is perfectly within your rights to ask them to have an inspection. Now, if you own the apartment and are required for yourself for peace of mind, you may want inspection as well, just for peace of mind, and hire a pest management professional. I cannot tell you how many times we get Ziploc bags and tape, and we PMPs out there. Make sure you charge for these inspections and these identifications. And because even if you just spend 45 minutes out there trying to identify it, or between your drive time, you have that time, but then you have the time spent looking at all these things under a microscope. And these are all, your time is worth money. And for all the consumers out there, please understand that when somebody spends 30 minutes in your house and then sends you this email and gives you the exact pest that they found and what it is, that all these things take time that people are getting paid for. So that's a huge thing.
Can I talk?
No.
Not only that, you spent time going to school, learning your craft. Become a lawyer in this case. You talk to a lawyer for 20 minutes, $100 with a cheap lawyer. Yeah, you were on the phone you would talk to him for 20 minutes but they bill you for half an hour. So maybe it's 125, whatever. Your time and your knowledge is worth money. Your time and your knowledge is worth more money than all the pesticide you're going to apply. Because without that, you won't apply the pesticide properly.
110%. And then the other thing that I mentioned is the mystery bug. The mystery bug is often, there's nothing, but people do actually get marks that look like potential bug bites, and it is often from potential static electricity, poor HVAC, or even overuse of pesticide. So this happens often in an office setting where they have chairs and they have no mats for the chairs, and you roll back and forth, and it creates that static electricity. Also, even if you don't roll back and forth that much and you have a job where you don't move too much during the day, maybe you go back and forth 2-3 times a day all winter, and then they turn the HVAC on in May, and the combination of whatever dust in the HVAC plus you're rolling back and forth can create this where it looks like you're getting bitten. So the key to this for the consumers and all pest management professionals is you aren't just spraying. Oh, I got bites, I'm spraying. You are monitoring, you're putting out traps. You want to, this is integrated pest management 101. Inspect, monitor, identify. If all you pick up over the course of a week or 2 weeks is dust, there's a good chance the carpets may need to be cleaned. You may need to buy those plastic mats. There's a bunch of things. And again, this comes from speaking with a pest management professional that knows what they're doing. 1 second. Give us your anecdotal mystery bug story, sir.
Anecdotal mystery bug story?
Yep.
Oh, mine?
Yes.
Oh, everybody's getting bit, blah, 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 blah. They show you some bullshit bug that's coming off one of these new, they got plants. So the bug came in on the plant. You got to identify it. They think you're full of shit. Excuse me. They think you're not telling them the truth because they got bit. Look. And then we were lucky. We talked to our dear friend, the late, great Jimmy Maloney, rest in peace. And he came up, he said, no, and he showed me this flyer he had. And we showed them that. We also showed them a picture of the bug they gave us, the insect, and said that this is not a biting bug. So what we had them do, we had them clean all the carpets and put, I don't know, there's something you could put on the seats with, I don't remember what it was. It'll come to me eventually, maybe in a month. It's stuff that you spray it with, not Tyvek, no. It's like a thing you get to clean, like this chair I'm sitting in, spray it on the upholstery and stuff. And then you tell them, why don't you put a plastic mat underneath the chair so when they roll back, it won't create any static electricity. Because everybody thinks you're mad, you're crazy. Then says, well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fog it. Oh, yeah, okay, good. I don't think you really have to do that. But if you want to keep the customers happy and pay me more money, no problem. So we shut the place down after you've gone home. And 4 hours later, we can come back. You can tell people you got to vent it in 4 hours. That's a 50-50 shot. Sometimes they do it like, oh, yeah. And somebody's, am I going to die? So I usually like to go back and make sure it's vented after it's in charge accordingly.
Okay, so I have similar stories, but we never.
Scotch Guard. That's the thing you spray on the chairs.
Scotch Guard. Thank you.
Oh, you get it in a month.
So here's the thing. You monitor. If you think you have pests in your house and you don't have availability to a super or a PMP or nobody's going to do anything for you, go to your local pest control store, buy some glue traps and put them out and see what you pick up. So getting to that, what you spoke about, we've had large areas where they've been getting bit and they wanted us to just do a treatment. And we said, no, we need to monitor. And the last time we did this on a 30,000 square foot floor, and we put out 487, and I remember that number very specifically, glue boards. It took 2 guys all day, and they wanted them checked twice a week. And we did it, and we charged accordingly. And after 2 weeks of being able to charge our hourly rate for 8 hours a day, plus the 2 guys, so 16 hours a day. All we found was dirt and dust. We had 487 glue boards, and we said, do you want to see them? The property manager we had a great relationship with said no. They said, we believe you. And we told them just clean the carpets. No pesticides were applied, which is true IPM. They cleaned the carpets, and the problem was solved.
There you go.
And also, whether or not your story is true or not, it might be a misapplication if you don't have a bug that you're applying the pesticide for.
Okay. That was before they made that law.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
And it was in a place that you still do.
Oh, allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. Wonderful word.
All right, so I'd be remiss if I didn't mention our friend Deanie Miller from Virginia Tech. She's been talking about the effects of COVID on bed bugs, and that in the elderly community, nursing homes, assisted living, and things of that nature that have been somewhat cut off from a lot of the world, and they're not making a fuss about stuff. She is expecting an explosion of bed bugs in these types of facilities as we come out of COVID.
You want me to comment on that?
Sure.
Happy days are here again. Let's ring again.
It does mean more business, but I think this is always, the economy is hurting. These people are certainly hurting, the people that own these communities and facilities. So it is going to be an economic hardship on everyone.
Give them a COVID discount.
Just another very funny story. During COVID, in the very beginning, the first 2 months, one of the nursing homes that we do, the technician sent us pictures. On every floor, in every corner, there were onions, raw onions, whole raw onion. And somebody in the facility was told that helps keep COVID away.
No, they do work. They only keep werewolves away, and they work well. Because wherever I put them, there was no werewolves.
But it was funny because we had to send this email saying, hey, we have no idea if this actually works for COVID, but this is definitely not good for ants, which are about to come, and because it was March, April, and roaches and whatnot. This is not a good thing. It was so basically we put gel and stuff around all of the onions just in case they attracted the roaches. But just the things with COVID that COVID affects. But it's going to be interesting to see that everybody out there just pay attention to your elderly loved ones if they're in any of these particular types of places, because they've been on such a strict lockdown.
If you're lucky enough, fortunate to visit your loved ones, there's going to be a really bad smell in that room, because when those roaches, ants start to eat the onions, what onions do. So those roaches and ants are going to be farting you can't believe.
Oh, only you would know.
Listen, in all seriousness, this is something that was brought over from the old country, wherever it was. I'm going to guess Eastern Europe, but it could be anywhere. And maybe it worked there or whatever. So it was passed down from generation to generation, and there you go.
No, listen, 100%. So let's sign off.
I was having such a good time. All right, listen, Mr. and Mrs. America, all the ships at sea. Ed Sheehan for Colony Confidential. I'm going out now to help my daughter Jamie dig out her car. And I'll probably do the rest of it because she's on lunch break now from Colony. So she's going to have to come back to work. But I will finish out the car. Okay, so Mr. and Mrs. America, all the ships at sea. Stay safe, be well, have fun in the snow, pretend you're a kid. If you can't, be a kid. Have some fun in the snow. Just don't eat none of that yellow snow, okay? All right, until we meet again, God bless you.
All right, Mr. Mark, I appreciate it. Everybody, this is Joey Buns. As Ed said earlier, I am the brains. I just want to remind you, send us your questions to colonyconfidential@gmail.com. Whatever it is, as you heard, we're getting some more consumer questions. But also, we have our HR, Human Resource series coming up. Send us questions in about your team. Team engagement, company culture, leadership. We're going to be touching on all of these things. Please make sure to send it to colonyconfidential@gmail.com or hit us up on social media, Colony Confidential Podcast at Instagram. I just want to thank you again for listening, and stay tuned for the upcoming HR series.
Mr. and Mrs. America, all the ships at sea. If you got questions or maybe answers, we'd like to hear from you. Why don't you send us an email at colonyconfidential.com. Even if you wanted to call us names, it's okay.
you know we're going to get back at you. But anyway, it's more of an information network. You got a problem, customers, pricing, buying stuff, send us an email at colonyconfidential.com.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe and review. Send us anything you want us to know about at colonyconfidential@gmail.com.